This is Shadowrun Hong Kong, episode 9. I guess I opened the game before I started, or I didn't open the game before I started the Xbox app. Then the control logs out for some reason. It's very weird. Code glue. Raymond and Wu stand near each other in the rain, staring at the walled city, not talking. The old man looks at you, wary but alert. You look like you have something on your mind. There's a lot we don't know about you, isn't there? Of course, you saw the world, saw me, through a child's eyes. How much do we actually learn about our parents before they die? Well, today we learned that you're a genius who can create magical machines. We learned that you have a rich, powerful mother on the ruling council of Hong Kong who kidnapped you to reprogram your brain. And we learned that two of you are responsible for the suffering of thousands. Pretty big score from my perspective. Did I get everything, Arnold? You left out that he's risking his life to try and fix it. That's just it. He can't fix it. He wills on Raymond, closes the gap between them. You realize you can't fix it, right, Edward? You can't erase 20 years of misery and suffering. The best you can hope for is to remove the unnatural part of it. Allow that horrible slum to be horrible without toxic key, or whatever you said. You're not gonna push the make it all better button. We can stop it from getting worse. We can stop her. Alright, let's not forget that at the end of this road, there's a demon goddess waiting for us. And I don't think she's gonna be too sweet on the idea of us closing the door on her. No, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm not gonna be like him. I'm not gonna run. Raymond cringes at that. He screws his eyes shut, trying to ward it off. But then, he's still for a moment, and his jaw sets. And when he opens them again, his eyes are defiant, authoritative. I did what I did to help people, Mr. Wu, and when I couldn't help them anymore, I left, and I continued helping people in Seattle, in that teen center, in that slum I took you from. Or did you forget where you were from? I didn't forget, little man. How could I? But you remind me of it every chance you get. How you saved the poor little Chinese boy. He lowers his head until it's inches from the old man's chest, After you ran from the thousands who looked just like him. my motivations for helping you aren't relative, Duncan. He points a bony finger at Wu, runs it up and down, the orcs towering above him. Look at you, the result are what counts. Wu doesn't pull back. He leaves his face, a hair breadth from his foster father. I know, Edward. Your motivations for building that machine aren't relevant here, either. Wu cocks a thumb at the walled city, at the throngs running from it in terror. The results are what counts. You two need to focus on the job at hand. We can deal with this later. You're right. He takes in the scene, unfolding around him with a grim determination. We need to do what we can do. Five people, all reeking of triad, huddle together next to your crew, muttering amongst themselves and pointing at the towering slum. One of them notices you and pats another on the chest with the back of his hand. It's the man who's been guarding the walled city entrance since you arrived in Heioi. He acknowledges you, a look of doomed determination on his face. Mrs. Cheng sends her regards. She told us to keep an eye out for you. What for? Miss Cheng wants to know what the hell is going on inside the walled city. She sent us to find out and report back to her. The triad soldier's hands shake. He sees you notice them and pulls them behind his back. You said, you said us that if we saw you heading in there, we should go with you. We'd have a better chance of staying alive. Good. We need all the guns we can get. The soldier nods in appreciation. Just tell us what you need. This is our shot at distinguishing ourselves. Show Auntie that we have what it takes to rise in the organization. The soldier looks sidelong at his friends. It may be our best chance to provide for our families. The group of triads nod to each other in forlorn unity as they take in the panic around them. The storm, the flood of people, the towering tenements, and something else. A wave of something emanating from within. Do you feel that? Gobbet holds her stomach. Madness and folly squeak their approval. It's like the walled cities. Bad breath or something. She groans. It's disgusting. I feel, I don't know, unclean, just looking at the place. Like life has no value or something. Oh, Jesus. Like there's no point to anything. That's the toxic key. And it is exactly the point. We need to get rid of it. Fix it at the source, if I can. Raymond stares at the walled city, taking it in for the first time. The breath hitches in his chest, but the old man grits his teeth in grim determination. The fortune engine is located at the heart of the walled city. That's where I need to go. I'll look up marker in the center of the walled city on everyone's PDA dystopia. We should be able to weave our way through it to the machine. Got it, let's go. Whoa, wait a minute. You just want to rush in there? Don't we need some kind of, I don't know, plan? We can take advantage of the chaos. It may cover our approach in case someone is trying to stop us. We should split up, keep Raymond back and out of harm's way. Look around, Guncho. This whole place is in harm's way. It'll be safer if we split up. Dystopia leads some of us to clear the way to the machine. Auntie's men can follow with the rest of us, escorting Raymond once the way is secure. It's thin, but it's a plan. We improvise from there. Both teams, use your comm to stay in touch. We have no idea what we're gonna face in there. I will be right behind you, Arnold. Take care of yourself. I hope you know what you're doing, Ray. I do, Mr. Rundqvist. It's time for me to finally take action. No more cowardice. He exhales softly and stares at the walled city, unflinching. This is the end of prosperity. City of Death. The typhoon pours down as the triad soldiers fan out in front of you, leading the way into Kowloon Walled City. Raymond shuffles along, alert and intent. Although exhausted by all that has gone on, he drives himself forward and will not accept help from anyone. Wu watches the windows and rooftops, his rifle never leaving his shoulder. He occasionally risks a glance at his foster father, concern, frustration, and anger playing over his face like a slideshow. The walled city is worse than in your first visit. Even with the rain, you can feel something in the air. It's thicker now, and it clings to your skin like invisible filth. The miserable noises of slum life are gone, replaced by something worse, the sound of death, the sound of fear. As you round the corner, the group stops before heading in deeper. We're finally here, finally past the trash heap that encrusts this place. He reaches out and touches a Duraplast wall. The paint has long since chipped away, but what remains is enough to tell you that you're looking at the original exterior of Kowloon Walled City. It looks much sturdier than the ramshackle construction that has grown up around it. This is what Mother and I built, what was supposed to help people. All that we wanted was to help. Very poetic. Now let's move. I'm done with the talking. I don't want to spend a second longer in this place than I have to. The Yellow Lotus 49er scans the horizon, his head on a swivel. He's full of frenetic energy that can only come from pure terror in combat stims. Raymond doesn't move. He stands there, staring at the painted section of wall to his left. Tracing his gaze, you can see that he's looking at. It's faint, but it's there. A faded stamp of the Sang Mechanical Services logo. Even this is a nightmare now, decrepit and rotten and falling apart. He squeezes his eyes shut. It was supposed to be a good place, a safe place. Yeah, well it isn't, and we all know whose fault that is, don't we? Her eyes flash daggers at your adopted father. She wears her hate like a mask. He looks down on her, expressionless. Yes, and that is why I have to fix it. Arnold, you need to clear me a path to the sarcophagus, that surrounds the fortune engine. It will be at the center of all of this. Please, help me fix this. I can't do it by myself. That's the plan. He reaches a hand towards you, pulls it back with a pained expression. Thank you. You cut the path, like the man said. I'll go with kindly soldiers on the B team. We'll escort Ray via side streets, keep him safe until we can regroup. I'll get him there. Take care of yourself too, Duncan. He rolls his shoulders, cracks his neck with a pair of pops. Let's just get this done. Get there safe. Best of luck. She paused a moment, considering, which is actually kind of impossible because of the whole bad luck machine thing. But you get what I mean. Break a leg. She glances back at you. Come on, Seattle. We've got a filthy slum to save from an evil demon god. Also, I can't believe that those words just came out of my mouth. A group of Yellow Lotus 49ers is holding this entrance. Their leader, a dumpy female elf with chipped teeth and a bouffant hairdo, stumbles towards you. You drop your guns and get down on the floor. She shakes her head from side to side as if trying to clear it. A pair of bloodshot eyes roll in her in their sockets without reason or purpose. Drop everything, or we've got you like pigs. You're from the Lotus then, aren't you? Strangler Bow is on my side. Bow. She gestures wildly with her rifle. A thin stream of blood traces its way from her left nostril down to her mouth. His time is done. Our new queen has shown us the way. Screaming unintelligibly, she launches herself at you. Her cohort follows behind, swinging the weapons wildly and howling for blood. missing so much. Oh, for fuck's sake. Where the fuck are you going? Are we back to missing every single fucking shot now? You push your way forward, through the piles of filth and through the narrow gaps between buildings, ducking under exposed sewage pipes and battered ductwork. Suddenly, you're through it, and on the other side, a slender woman stands a few meters in front of you. An extravagant coat hangs over her delicate frame. The hood pulled low over her face. She's facing you, but you can't make out her features. Behind her, another woman approaches at a trot. She is wearing ballistic armor, and she has her weapon drawn. The insignia that's been emblazoned onto her shoulder pads is familiar to you. Sang. Hey, you there. She shouts at the hooded figure, her voice full of self-important pomp. You hear us. Clear the area, and do it now. The inner blocks are off limits to non-Sang personnel. The hooded figure turns to face the approaching guard. My apologies, I got a bit lost. I'm not really familiar with this area. Her tone is silky smooth and perfectly even, almost hypnotic. That's okay, but she blinks, shakes her head to clear it. Her jaw clenches, and you watch her eyes refocus. She shoulders her weapon. Don't you try that on me. You make one more sound, and I'm gonna... With a motion that's too quick to follow, the hooded figure lashes out, grabbing the sandguard around the waist. She bats the startled woman's weapon away from her other hand, lunges forward, and sinks her teeth into her neck. A spray of arterial blood fills the air, and the guard's body goes limp. The hooded figure lets the Sang security officer's body crumple to the floor. She sweeps back her hood and dabs at her lips with her handkerchief. Ku Feng, pleasure to see you again. The pleasure's all mine. You're right on time, by the way. She turns the square of embroidered fabric in her hand and continues to blot the blood off of her lips. Apologies for a mess. It's like eating soup dumplings. The liquid winds up getting everywhere, no matter how careful you try to be. I didn't expect to hear your voice again, Queen of Repulse Bay. Not since we concluded our lessons. What are you doing here? Well, I'm here to help you, of course, and to bask in the misery of the walled city. She shrugs, half smiling. It's quite intoxicating, you know, the poisonous energy of this place, and of the being at the center of it all. I'm surprised that you can't feel it yourself. Good to see you as well, Ku Feng. You seem to be doing well. She glances down his body, gives it a nudge with the toe of her boot. I get by. In any event, let's get down to business. I have a question for you. A thing that has arrived here, this Yama King, to use the local parlance. What are your intentions for it? What do you want me to do? She smiles sweetly. What I want is an honest answer. If I wanted to hear my own thoughts fed back to me, I'd ask one of my thralls. Goodness knows, I have enough of them back at Repulse Bay. So let's try this again. What do you intend to do with the Yama King, or Queen, I suppose, and the machine that brought her here? I'm going to send it back to hell that it crawled out of. Very good. In that case, I will help you. The energies that your Yama King secrets are quite delicious. I can only imagine they will become more so at the moment of her death. That's how it works with blood. Why would this be any different? I will always have you fight by my side. Great, sure, why not? Let's bring a bipedal leech on board. What's the worst that could happen? I am a ghoul. I despise cannibal, and yet I have not attempted to eat anyone on this team in all of our time together. Ku Feng would be much the same. If you cannot trust her, trust me. I have no problem running with a vampire. Let's get this party started. She claps her hands together, smiling. Very good. This is going to be fun. Monster Squad. For sure, Monster Squad it up. What the fuck now? It's been fucking buggy, this game. The City of Death. That fucking bugs out. The fuck, man. Well, let's try another option then. We could actually... Yeah, we can do a hard reset and see if that fixes it. So yeah, it's gonna take a bit. Yeah, it's not going too well. Okay, so I might found the fix. Okay, that seemed to work. The fuck is this? Ranged servitor. The crowd is in a frenzy. They're shouting, screaming at the Sang security officer who blocks their progress. A dead body lies in their rapidly expanding pool of blood at their feet. They've already shot one of these poor bastards. Any second now, they're gonna open up on the rest. I've seen enough riots to know. They always end the same way. Kufeng shoots you a backward glance. Sang, security arrived here in force about an hour ago. They've been cordoning off streets and pushing people out ever since. It looks like they're trying to take control of the inner walled city. But the desperate poor have them outnumbered 1,000 to 1. The inevitable massacre should begin in a second now. The crowd surges forward, and a burst of gunfire pushes them back. Back away, back the fuck away. The muzzle of his weapon dips and weaves as he barks out orders. Those in the front of the crowd try to backpedal, only to run up against those surging forward from the back. I'm warning you, clear the area now. Please, this is our home. Our families are still inside. This is for your own good. We are here to protect you. He gesticulates while oh fuck's sake. Spittle flying from his mouth. You can't be here. Back away. This is your last warning. Quick, that's 6. Attack the Sang troops. You raise your weapon. You see them ready their own. So where are the Sang guys then? Kufeng takes a bite of her foe, restoring 8 HP over 2 rounds and gaining 1 strength with consumption. Plus 4 damage, additional 4 AP of bleeding. Doesn't matter much if she can't hit, but sure. Explosive detonator. A pack of wild-eyed civilians are trapped behind a makeshift barricade. You can hear them speaking, a maddening stew of slurred words and strange noises, all mixed together into an unintelligible stew. Some appears to be crying, others are clearly wounded. A group of Sang officers surround the gibbering civilians. They're clearly agitated, some as wild-eyed as the people they're accosting. The body language takes you back to the corporate prison and the years that you spent incarcerated there. This was what it looked like when the guards were about to remove an inmate from the gene pool. Penned up as they are, the civilians will be helpless to fight back unless someone lets them out of their cage. They're as good as dead. We can't go in dystopia, not unless you're actively looking to get hurt. She waves a hand in the direction of corralled citizens. I've dealt with these people. They're not right in the head. What do you suggest? We leave. These people are a threat to us, just as much as those officers are to them. She sighs. But if you're set on helping them, I suppose that you could use that fuse box over there to blow the barricade. Who knows? Maybe it'll distract the officers or something. There's a close look at the explosives. You scan the area. It appears that the only way forward is through the barricade, and with the Sang officers closing in, you need to make a decision fast. You spot two detonation charges, one rigged to the barricade, the second rigged to the bridge. It looks as though blasting your way forward will only destroy your only known avenue of retreat. If you do this, you could wind up stuck here. Approach the fuse box to destroy the barricade. This fuse box looks like it's hooked up to the bridge behind you and to the barricade in front of you. If activated, it will destroy the bridge, preventing you from going back, but it will also destroy the barricade so you can move forward. Hit the detonation button. The explosion is deafening. Waves of concussion crash into you from both sides of the bridge, and the barricade disappears in a gout of flame. You stagger, and the civilians on the other side of the wall do the same. The same security troops that were threatening them barely manage to stand their ground. Disperse, damn it! Get back, or we'll open fire. The Sang guard's voice is raw with panic. This is your last warning. The crowd moves as one, lurching forward with manic grins on their faces. The leader, a skeletal man in his early 20s, allows his lips to part. He doesn't have a tooth in his head, and his tongue is missing. The security officers stand their ground. As the screaming masses charge them, they open fire. Hey you, what the fuck? No, thanks for that. GG. Oh, they just got knocked down or something. Yeah, that was a waste of time. You've been walking for what feels like hours, picking your way through claustrophobic alleys and the inner walled city. It feels like you're traversing a war zone. Dead bodies littered together. Some have been gotten by gunfire, others have suffered stranger and more terrible wounds. The rattle of distant automatic weapons fire rings in your ears, intermingling with faint screams of agony and terror. Geiger falls in line beside you, wincing. With every step we take, the astral pollution of this place grows stronger, a difficult road to walk, even for me. We have a chance to fix this, or at least to keep it from getting worse. Right, we have to keep moving. After all, we can't keep the malevolent demon god waiting. Ahead, you see a cluster of Tsang security personnel. They look to be embroiled in some sort of argument. If they notice you at all, they don't show it. Watch and wait. As you watch, one of the officers loses his cool, starts shouting, "She's here, for us. I've seen her in my dreams." What is here? I don't know what you're talking about, damn it. The security officer lurches towards his partner, his eyes bulging. His body language makes you think of a wounded animal, panicked, terrified, ready to lash out at anything within reach. He shakes his head like a wet dog and focuses on the woman beside him. "I know how to keep us safe. I saw how to do it. He reaches for an object that's clipped to his belt. Open your mouth. You're crazy, man. Keep away from me. I mean it. She backpedals, reaches for her weapon, and shouts at the third guard. Get back up. Who is gone insane? Without a word, the third sign guard takes off running. As if on cue, the deranged security officer takes another step forward. This is for the best, Yang. Trust me. I'll do you first, and then I'll do me. Light shines on black iron. He holds a multi-tool clenched in his hand. You can see that he's configuring it into a set of pliers. By the time I'm done, she won't be able to hurt us anymore. With a flurry of motion, the man with the pliers lunges at his companion. She drops into a fighting stance and meets him head on. Jesus Christ with the missus. More Sang security up ahead, but these ones are different. They're outfitted in heavier armor, carrying heavier artillery. They look just as adult as everyone else you've seen this deep in the slum, though. They hold their weapons leveled at a doorway leading to the inner walled city. Gobbet whispers to you. Great, more heavily armed nut jobs. What are they? You hear a deafening crash from the direction of the walled city. The noise is followed by an alien piping sound, unlike anything you've ever heard. At the sound of it, the Sang troops start screaming. Their faces gone as grey as ash. You catch a glimpse of something moving towards you, something fast that seems to defy gravity as it runs. You have a split second to process this new information before the gunfire starts. Okay, focus on the other guys. Fuck's sake. Come forth. Drone on drone. Right back. Need some more coffee. As you pass into the hallway, Kufeng brushes up against you. I'm afraid that we're going to have to part ways here, Dystopia. She shudders. The negative energy of this place has grown a little too strong for my liking. Are you really content to share power with the Jama King? I thought that you wanted to be queen. I did, and I am, of Repulse Bay. In case you hadn't noticed, this place isn't Repulse Bay. It's a fetid hellhole with all the charm of a garbage dump. In any case, this has been a most educational experience. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. She curtsies demurely. Demurely. Goodbye, Shadowrunner, and good luck. Thank you, Kufeng. Okay. What the fuck? In the clearing ahead, you find a sobbing middle-aged man amidst a pile of bodies. He's dressed in a sheep suit with bright yellow tie, but the fabric has been smeared with blood. He takes notice of you and recoils. Leave me alone. Go away. As he tries to pull away, his mouth drops open. You can see that he's missing at least half of his teeth. Can't let them find me. Can't let them catch me. Have to hide from them. From her. Slowly, methodically, he begins to claw at his own eyes. Can't get free, can't get clean. When my eyes close, I see them there, twitching, shaking, like broken things. He reaches for you with blood-stained fingers. Please, please help me. Something scrambled his brain. Might have been the Kianya or her servants, or maybe just the stress. Either way, there isn't much that we can do. The best way that we can help you is to stop all of this. He sobs uncomprehendingly. Enter the heart of the walled city. The sound of a typhoon hammering outside is nearly drowned out by the noise of evacuees fleeing their ordeal. The air smells of fear and bodily fluids. Thrums with the bass note of expectation and doom. You pause for a moment in the eye of the hurricane. Ahead, the cancerous core of the walled city and its concrete encased fortune engine awaits. We still have not heard from your foster father. Perhaps he is dead. I have faith in Raven. Good. I would rather not have a showdown with the demon goddess. Shutting down that machine sounds much easier. Let's continue clearing a path. Make it easy for him to follow. Oh, jeez. The deafening rattle of machine gun fire fills the air behind you, and the metallic tang of blood cuts through the stench of garbage. You press forward, wading through block after block of insanity, chaos, and death. All around you, the walled city is descending into a churning cauldron of depravity and violence. The comms of no use. You have tried several times, but there's no word from the B team, no sign of Raven, or of kindly Shang's tried soldiers. Finally, you reach the center of this hellhole, an industrial hatch with its door ajar. This is the place where Raymond Black built his infernal machine, the threshold across which Shan Ya, the queen with 1,000 teeth, clawed her way into this world. The walls here are thick. Steel-reinforced braids of thick cable run across the floor, and computer equipment, now hopelessly out of date, adorns every elevated surface. Something in the distance is calling to you. It's faint, but you can feel it, the bone-shaking thrum of an enormous machine. Gobbet points to the stenciled letters on the wall. Prosperity. Looks like this is the place. Her usual carefree expression is nowhere to be found. She bites her lip and you can see that she's sweating. I don't like it here. Rat doesn't like it here, but I guess that the fortune engine is somewhere ahead, right? You find the machine and secure it until Raymond arrives. Simple enough. The machine lies ahead, yes, but so does our quarry. I can smell it. A stench of something from another place. He loosens his blade in its saya. The red lacquered scabbard shimmers eerily in the light. Let us advance and meet with this Yama King head on. I will paint the walls with her blood. The door has been sealed. Looks like it's been shut for a while. Got to be some way to get this door open. Yeah, I'm sure we can find something. Shamanic salve. A simple magically prepared salve that heals 7 base HP and a further 7 HP per round for 3 rounds. The terminal wings to life at your approach. It's still drawing power, promising. His gaze traces across the screen. His terminal isn't password locked. The display looks corrupted, but I suppose that it might still be usable. As long as we can open the door with it, we're good. We don't need it for anything else. Use the terminal, let's find out. Prosperity admin system. Attempt to open the door to the Fortune engine testbed. Here goes nothing. You select the door control from the computer's menu and command them to open. The screen flickers, then goes dark. Unfortunate. Perhaps the issue is mechanical. I could take a look. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a wave of nausea grabs you by the guts and twists. It doubles you over, then fades. What are you doing now? What the fuck are you shitting again?
Yes.
Give me a break. Take care of your dog.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck? Right to turn to you, wincing. What was? As you straighten, you can feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up straight. A buzzing sensation washes over you, drowning out your companion's words and filling your head with white, warm static. In the center of the room, something blossoms into the world. The figure from your dream looms over you, enormous and alien. The creature is beautiful and terrifying in equal measure, a thing of billowing silk and carved ivory. Shan Ya stands still as a statue, peering down at you from behind the mask of sculpted gold. Smaller spirits take up position around her, bowing their heads in deference. Well, her hands tighten on her weapon as the color drains from her cheeks. Shit. I've been looking forward to killing this thing all day. Slowly, with a broad, languid motion, Shan Ya's body begins to shift. The crescent-shaped ivory horns that crown her head cut through the light as she moves, casting strange shadows on the wall behind her. You are here. The voice that pours from behind the thing's mask is indescribably beautiful. The tones are high and musical, and seems to hang in the air long after she finishes speaking. You have come to us. In the corners of the room, servitor creatures echo their queen's words, the garbled sounds piping through gaps in their animal-lined carapaces. Come to us. We called to you across the breadth of space and time, and now you're here, standing before us, just as you were meant to. You don't get to dictate what I'm meant to do. My choices are my own. The thing begins to cackle. Its body shudders at the laughter it peels out of it. The meat presumes to lecture us, spews its ignorance like bile. Watch your tongue, slave thing, or we will twist it around our finger. Slave thing. The Yama King spreads its arms, its movements full of malevolent grace. You belong here with us, little puppet, in our court and in our larder, now and for all time. I'm gonna blow you back to whatever hell you crawl out of. You kill us. The thing cackles, its throat pulsing rhythmically. The sound catches in your spine like a razor blade. Oh, the noises you make, such sweet, foolish sounds. The slave thing thinks that it can kill us. It is mistaken. It cannot even comprehend us. Shan Ya's iridescent gown parts as she raises a forearm. Your mind rebels against the alien biology that you see underneath. The wet, glistening crenulations of flesh, animal, and keratin that makes up the Yama King's body. It is chattel, meat, and we have been starving for thousands of years. The musical tones of the thing's voice are high-pitched and giddy. It opens its arms to you, offering a view of the chisel-like teeth that protrudes from its flesh. Rector stares up at the creature, his jaw hanging open in awe. Magnificent, absolutely magnificent. The queen with 1,000 teeth lowers her head, and the unnatural thick air turns rank and cold. Waves of nausea rack your stomach as a foul wind slides over you like mud. We will rip out your nerves at the root, milk the misery from your protesting body. Her glistening claws weave strange patterns in the air. We will feast on your sorrow, now and forever. sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had an issue with the kiddo's door breaking. Seriously, fresh. I wonder why the third game's port is so bad compared to the first two. noise a bit. Oh, sorry about that. But I mean, what the fuck? Why doesn't the fire go away then? There's actually a ley line there. Hey you, get the fuck off that ley line. Oof, 30. energy drain from a robot. You fucker. So weird. As you watch, Kuan Ja's blast marked and broken body begins to reform. Her gown knits itself back together, black blood wicked onto the floor. Slowly, terribly, she begins to laugh. You cannot kill us, mate. You have not even seen us. Her voice fills with mockery. This form is but a shadow, a droplet of divine essence, filtered through a keyhole. Gaishu's milky eyes sweep across the room. His lip curls into a frown. She speaks the truth, after a fashion. That crumbling thing is not Kanji, Shanya, any more than those servitor spirits are. They are small fragments of a single whole. The corpse eater sees. He glimpses us as we really are. Were you to behold our full magnificence, your mind would wring itself into pulp. The crumpled form of Xian rights itself, begins to rise. You will see, slave thing. We will show you a world not meant for mortal eyes. You will see. Oh, I had to loot those in the middle of a fight. Oh, really? Welcome to our domain, meat. Behemoth. fuck's wrong with this place? By servitors. Ouch. I feel great. Heal more than 30 damage in a single cast. As the Yama King's body crumbles, a cackling sound fills the air. Once again, her broken body begins to knit itself back together. The flow of black ichor from her many wounds slows to a stop and reverses, the viscid fluid snaking its way back up into the holes and ruptures that it poured from. Projections on top of projections, all aspects of our divine being, shed as easily as lizard sheds its tail. Her voice is ripe with mockery. You cannot harm us, meat, but you have amused us. Shan Ya holds her crowned head, cocking to one side. Perhaps you are worthy of an audience after all, perhaps. Her voice trails off and her head tilts upward. From behind you, you can hear the pounding sound of approaching footsteps. As he falls into position behind you, Duncan's jaw drops open. Raymond Black's steps forward, an expression of grim determination on his face. Oh shit, she's real. He does his best to stand his ground as Shan Ya turns to face him. His voice is full of awe and terror. I did this. I brought this creature here. He speaks in a grim tone of a man on his way to the gallows. His complexion has gone grey as ash. My fault, my responsibility. The queen with 1,000 teeth cackles with glee. It has returned to us, the tunnel builder, the architect of my ascendancy. Ascendancy. The creature leans in towards Raymond, its spidery fingers weaving hypnotically. The thing's robes billow like like the bell of a jellyfish, pulsing organically with the rhythm of a heartbeat. You will have a special place in our court, builder. You will stand by our side, exalted for all time. A living token of our unending rule, and an undying symbol of the folly of man. I have been a fool, yes. His hands clench into fists so tight that his knuckles go white. The skin on his face is flushed with the effort of fighting through the stammer, jumbling his words. A great fool, but I will not be your slave. I will stop you. The queen with 1,000 teeth leans forward. her movements full of alien grace. The gaping crescents of her mouth parts into a ghastly smile, and you can see row upon row of fangs. They run down her throat in overlapping layers, a bristling forest of glistening, sharpening animal. I earned an audience with you, Queen, and this man did not. She steeples her fingers. Their hardened tips click against one another with a sound like grinding teeth. You are bold, Meat, but you are also correct. We do not break our promises, and you have earned some modicum of respect. Shanya turns her full attention back to you, and the smile widens. You can feel it deep in your gut. It tunnels into you like a lamprey, leaving you feeling empty and cold. In truth, you amuse us. Your persistence in the face of the inevitable is a pleasure to behold, and so we have decided to grant you a rare honor. We offer you a deal. You're just trying to buy yourself time, aren't you? Keep me talking so that I won't hurt you anymore. The cackling laugh returns, raising the hair on the back of your neck and sending a shiver down your spine. Oh, the noises it makes. You are impotent to harm us, Meat. Surely that is clear by now. We offer you a choice. Hear out our deal or be destroyed. Make your decision and do it quickly. Our patience runs thin. You said that you can't be killed. Let's put that to the test. A pity, a shame. You could have had everything that your heart had desired. She clucks her tongue at you, a hollow, resonant sound. Instead, you will suffer as no living being has ever suffered before. Her robes shimmer again, and the claws come out. Once again, her voice grows to a deafening roar. We will suckle your sorrow until the sun turns to dust. As you watch, the Yama King's broken carcass wither and dissipate. Second later, all that's left of her is a cloud of rancid mist. Huh, that was easier than I thought it'd be. I guess that she was hurt worse than she let on, trying to trick us into taking a bad deal. That doesn't mean that she won't be back. All we've done is buy ourselves some time. I believe that you are correct. He points at the dingy terminal just in front of the towering machine. The control console is just over there. We must move quickly. The Fortune Engine itself stands before you, an enormous malevolent presence that fills the test chamber ahead. Raymond pushes forward, leaning in to study the control console with a look of determination on his face. I will close the rift, I just need. He bends over the terminal, frowning. His eyes dart from readout to readout. As you watch, the blood drains from his cheeks. What's wrong? Destroy the thing before she comes back. I can't. He gestures at the technical readouts on the Fortune engineer's monitors. There is a one-way flow of astral energy moving from the inner walled city through the tunnel. I know what it is. Gobbet wrinkles her nose and gets a faraway look. She sways for a moment, then she speaks as if in a dream. I can feel it too. The energy is coming from the people that she's feeding on, their essence, their spirits, for lack of better word. She sways a while longer, and a puzzled expression on her face. If I destroy the machine now, it will collapse the tunnel. All of those people will have the better part of their essence. What makes them who and what they are, trapped inside, with her, forever. Thousands of people condemned to an eternity with that parasitic thing. Do we have another option? Raymond squeezes his eyes shut, works it through. Yes, someone could enter the tunnel, close the rift seal. The people will be saved, restored to life in the real world. And what happens to the person in the tunnel? He stays there, forever, with her. His shoulders sag. There's no way out once the tunnel is closed. There is a long pause as the assembled group digests Raymond's words. Duncan nods to himself, his jaw clenched. He pushes forward. I'll do it. Just tell me what buttons to press. The old man stares at the controls. Cold fear washes across his face. No, if anyone's to do this, it must be me. His voice strengthens, and you can see the old fierceness rising from within. The iron will of your childhood. It will be me. Hang on a minute, Raymond. No, not Raymond. My name is Edward Sang, and I built this machine. I set this avalanche in motion. Whether I meant to or not, it's my responsibility to stop it. He turns to you, a look of resignation on his face. That is what this is all about, what it's been about since the very beginning. Raymond, listen to me. You're too weak for this. Just tell me what to do. No, the Yama King could return at any moment. There is no time to teach you what to do in there. I must set these things in motion. It must be me. He turns to you. Goodbye, Arnold. He smiles sadly. Thank you for coming to Hong Kong. Thank you for coming when I called. For what it's worth, I'm glad that I did. The old man flips a lever and steps into the machine. There is a flash of light, and Raymond Black is gone.
I told you that the past is just a story. That if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. My past is a terrible story. I didn't expect it to end with redemption. Sometimes the debts of the past can't be repaid. But we do what we can. I have done what I can to right my wrongs. And I accept the consequences.
You depart from the Prosperity Chamber and are instantly caught up in a wave of refugees fleeing for their lives, struggling through the panicked wave of humanity. You are able to retrace your steps and eventually reach Hioi. Although the typhoon has passed, the scene is wet and chaotic. The newly homeless crowd the streets, dazedly wandering, searching for missing loved ones and nursing injuries. Relief workers are already on the scene, providing blankets and medical aid. Rescue personnel carry the stunned and wounded to safety. The entire area has been cordoned off by the HKPF, while knight-errant officers and a military peacekeeping force attempt to maintain order. You emerge from Kowloon walled city to bustling clusters of activity, refugees huddling together, staring back at their lost homes, government troops deploying from armored personnel carriers, news vans setting up remote camera feeds, while reporters scramble to find the right angle for their broadcasts. The air is electric with the threat of potential violence as panicked peacekeepers eye the growing crowd of evacuating poor. Goblet's eyes dart furtively as she turtles her head between her shoulders. This place is hot, the cops are swarming the place, and that APB is still out on us. Just take it easy, try and blend into the crowd. I want to have a look around. Now's the best time for sightseeing, Dystopia. The place is crawling with badges. Isabel lifts her nose towards a reporter interviewing someone from inside the walled city. Looks like we get to see the shows, though. That reporter already has his hooks in someone, hoping for a soundbite. The reporter wears a look of earnest concern for like a coat of cheap deodorant. And is that when you started running? Yeah, it was bad in there, shooting, screaming. I was terrified. And what caused this, sir? Why are people flooding out of the walled city injured and disoriented? The man stares at the scene around him, bewildered. It's like everyone is saying, some sort of chemical leak. A drug lab exploded or something, caused mass hallucinations. The reporter turns to the camera and pretends to check his note. There you have it, Sonny. Our third report of mass hallucinations and violence caused by an explosion in an illegal drug lab. And while reports remain sketchy, it appears that street crime is again on the rise. He half turns and sweeps his arm over the scene. As you can see, it's still turmoil and confusion here as police and executive council peacekeepers respond to the emergency situation, attempting to maintain order. But in all this chaos, in the maze of poverty that is Kowloon Walled City, we may never know what really happened in here. Back to you in the studio, Sonny. The light on the news camera goes goes off and the reporter drops his facade. He ignores the bedraggled man beside him and begins packing up his equipment. After a moment, he sees you looking at him and turns to you with a scowl. What are you looking at? There was no illegal drug spill. I'm shocked. He laughs sardonically and continues packing. Of course there were no illegal drug spill. Of course it's a line of corp crap. Everything you see, everything you've been taught, every official you elect, they're all bought and paid for by the people pulling the strings. Yeah, well, no one's telling me what to think. No eye contact. He remains bent over his equipment case. Of course not, pal. You're different. The reporter finishes packing and stands up straight, brushing the wet grit of the street off his hand. And he does so. His eyes narrow. His gaze moves over your crew, flicking from face to face before eventually landing on you. Looks like you just came from inside. So tell me, what did you really see in there? A mess that Josephine Sang never cleaned up. He chuckles. Why am I not surprised? No one even remembers that she built this hole in the first place. Not that it would matter. Joe Sang holds this town by the balls. I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be surprised if she was running some kind of test in the walled city. It's like their little petri dish. He snorts. Wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing blew up in her face because of low safety standards either. They test food additives, body modification, pharmaceuticals, whatever some junior executive can dream up. Nothing surprises me anymore. We could change that. He looks at you like you're from Mars. Good luck. You look like just the guy to do it. Aren't you a reporter? Shouldn't you be trying to inform people? You're in the 2050s, pal, not the 1950s. He picks up his gear and turns to go. Everyone on this island knows that my news service is just a mouthpiece for the executive council. Hell, if you look close enough, you'll probably find that it's owned by the members of the executive council. People buy what we feed them because the world is changing and it's scary. They feel small, they need scapegoats to blame and authority figures to tell them what to think. My news network gives them that. He points at the TRID screen mounted on the side of his news van. And there's a prime example of an authority figure, Joe Sang, rising star of the executive council. Just look at her, spinning this to her own end, talking about the humanitarian relief effort she's mounting, you know? Your comm sharps, it's kindly shank. Go ahead, take your comm. I'm gonna go before this scene turns into some kind of riot. It usually does. This is Dystopia. I lost contact with soldiers I sent into the walled city with you. And now these Sang assholes and government troops are all over the place. Get over here, tell me what happened. What about the cops? There's still an APB out on us. Some mysterious benefactor lifted the APB on you. You can hear her suck on a little black cigar. We'll talk more when you get here. The comm clicks off. Isabel tugs at your arm, her eyelids at half-mast. I want to sleep for about a year. I'm heading to the bolt hole, Arnold. I think I could use some sack time. I'll see you there. You better go talk to Auntie, Seattle. A 3D monitor displays a live feed from the network's newsroom. It's a standard split screen talking heads back and forth between a perky newscaster and a stately woman of indeterminate old age. The animated label under the older woman reads Executive Council Member Josephine Sang. And if you are just joining us, we're talking live with Councilwoman Sang from her office in Prosperity Town. Councilwoman, again, thank you for being here to help us make sense out of the conflicting reports that we're getting from the Kowloon Walled City. Yeah, that's just a line of bullshit anyway, so. The commotion from the streets of Heiau bleeds into Candy Sheng's Mahjong parlor. Triad soldiers bustle to keep up with their boss's orders. Couriers coming regularly, whispering to her lieutenant before listening intently and running off again. As you enter, Candy Sheng is giving instructions to Strangler Bao, who nods enthusiastically. She looks over at you and holds up a hand. Wait. And send Wong and Ho to snatch some of those medical supplies off the relief trucks. With all the excitement, nobody's watching them at all. She nods to herself, grimacing in satisfaction. There will be a big black market for them over the next few weeks. Good thinking, Miss Sheng. Bao lifts a finger to his ear to transmit the orders. When he sees you waiting, he inclines his head a quarter of an inch. Dystopia, I figured you were dead. Last I heard, my soldiers had found you and everyone was heading into the walled city. Then things got out of control. She takes a pull on her thin black cigar. Where are my people? What the hell happened? We got separated in the walled city. Found out later they were killed. Her eyes are hard little black buttons. Is that how you treat my resources? Looks like the business is up these days. You make up the loss. She takes another drag off her cigar, exhales the smoke through her nose. Callous, I like that. She taps her ash on the floor. Well, they knew the risk. They had a shot at moving up and they missed. Forget them. I've got bigger problems, like customers and tenants streaming out of the walled city, screaming for their lives, like the HKPF and those Sang security shithills swarming the place. She drops the stub of her cigar in an ashtray. Now tell me, what happened in the walled city? Or do I have to get an acetylene torch and ask nicely? Raymond Black accidentally summoned a demon god. We had to put her down. Canli Sheng's eyes get big at that. What kind? A Yama king. Xianya, the queen with 1,000 teeth. Never heard of her. She picks up her bottle of foul spirits and studies the label. Her rusty, mean voice drops low. But I know the Yama kings. My grandmother used to try and scare me with stories about them. I guess that she thought she was teaching me something by scaring the shit out of me. She chuckled softly. I remember one Yama specifically, Fu Mang, the serpent of the setting sun. Oh yes, Fu Mang promised wealth and influence for those willing to do what was necessary to take it. Her voice turns wistful. The story of Fu Mang spoke to me. All he asked for in return were 44 hearts pulled from the chest of those closest to you while they were still alive. Hearts from random victims wouldn't do. So those who took Fu Mang's bargain would befriend others before taking their hearts, turning their entire network into a list of victims. Yes, Fu Mang spoke to me, but I didn't listen. Strangler Bao leans in, his fingers to his ears. My apologies, Miss Cheng, but one of the men you sent with the runners into the walled city is still alive. He stumbled into Wong and Ho as they were pulling medical supplies off of a lorry. Cheng turns to you with an edge in her voice. At least one came back alive. Strangler Bao lowers his head, listens to his earpiece again. Our man says that Wong Lun Fat is dead. He got shot up by the HKPF inside the walled city. Bao lifts his head, makes eye contact with the triad boss. He's also almost salivating with avarice. Our man saw it with his own eyes, Mrs. Chang. With his own eyes, is that important? Oh yes, very important. It means I have verification from a trusted man. Wong Lun Fat was my superior in the Yellow Lotus, A438. A kindly shining black button eyes sparkled with satisfaction born of malice. He was also a pig. Tell our friend Dystopia what that means, Mr. Bao. A wolfish smile spreads across her face, and her eyes squeeze into crescent moons of pleasure. And say it slow so I can savor it. The death of Wong Lun Fat has opened a spot for you to move up, madam. You could be the next 438. Bao smiles. The effect is chilling. The gods help those who seize opportunities. Mr. Bao, put every man we have on this. Spread the word. Kandi Sheng says all debts to the Yellow Lotus are suspended for citizens of the walled city until order is restored, and no interest will compound either. Tell them that I have medical supplies too, and there will be no charge for them until the crisis is over. And after the crisis is over, when the laws of supply and demand take over, my darling, once I convince the relief forces that order has been restored in the walled city, they'll pull out and thankful to be away from here. Within a week, the public will forget about the refugees, and the government will be pleased that their budget is no longer being drained by the poor. Medical supplies will dry up overnight, and prices will soar. I may not have brought Josephine Sang down, but I've got my career going up. She grabs her bottle and unscrews the cap with her thumb. Your career too, Mr. Bao. You'll be my new straw sandal. Good partners support one another. Bao lowers his head in respect. You have proven that, Mrs. Cheng. This calls for a drink. The soon-to-be 438 pours 2 shots, and the stink of kerosene stabs your nose like switchblade. She hands a glass to Bao, touches it with her own, and holds it there. Your loyalty and clear-headedness have proven immensely valuable, Mr. Bao. You are an effective ally, and I wish you great wealth and good fortune. They down the foul substance in one gulp. Looks like you two are moving up in the world. Yes, and it appears your fortune is changing too, Dystopia. She pours herself another drink and leaves it sitting on the table. Remember, you have a mysterious benefactor who lifted the APB on you. Any idea who that might be? I don't have a clue, and I must admit that bothers me. It must be somebody powerful. I can't imagine it was Josephine Sang. After all, what would her motivation be? It's got to be someone else. One of Josephine's enemies on the executive council. I'll tap my network, find out what I can. Kindly pulls out another thin black cigar. But that's for later. I'm missing an entire piece of your story, my darling. What happened at Prosperity Tower? Did you rescue Raymond Black? Did his mother wipe his memory? It was a hell of a fight, but we beat Science Security. Got Raymond before she could finish. Impressive. You have become quite the Shadowrunner, Dystopia. She lights the cigar, a gleam of hunger in her shiny black eyes. While you were in Prosperity Tower, did you find any incriminating data on Josephine Sang? Dirt, something I can use. Nope, didn't find anything. All this bullshit and I don't get anything. She grabs a handful of my young tiles and drops them onto the table one by one. Fine, no sense crying over that. I have business to do. I need to focus on bringing order back into the walled city and prestige to the Yellow Lotus. That will cement me in my new position. Now before I get back to business, I must know, how did you go from rescuing Raymond Black to the walled city vomiting people? Ray built a machine in Walled City. It accidentally summoned the big bad thing. That's when everybody ran. The triad boss cocks her head, raises her cigar to her lips. If the demon summoning was accidental, what was his machine supposed to do in the first place? It created the fortune. Your foster father created a magical fortune machine. The triad boss cocks her head, raises her cigar to her lips. Please tell me you have control of this device. Please tell me you brought it to me. Nope, sorry. That's a pity. I'm sure there are plenty of people who could benefit from it. Well, this business has certainly proved lucrative for me. Kindly Sheng studies the glowing tip of her black cigar. I'm in prime position to be the next Yellow Lotus 438, and I only lost 4 men. Yeah, well, Raymond didn't make it. He sacrificed himself to stop the demon. Did he? Maybe that's what he came here to do. She lowers her eyes and her voice softens. Everyone makes their choices, my sweet, and everyone pays the consequences, even you someday. You've made quite a splash since arriving in Hong Kong dystopia. Many Shadowruns completed in a very short time. The reports from our clients are glowing, mostly. You can add closing the door on a demon goddess to the list. We made a difference. Perhaps for a while. The triad boss leans in, her voice conspiratorial. Listen to me, my sweet. When I was a girl, there had never been a pandemic like Vitas, but in 2010 it happened. We'd never seen death like that. A quarter of the world's population disappeared. It was miserable. It pushed us to our limits, but the survivor moved on. And then the spike babies started appearing, and the dwarf babies. And then suddenly there were dragons, and goblinization, and magic, and every time the world changed, we got used to it. So if a demon goddess decides that the walled city was her new living room, and you didn't, whatever you did, what would have happened? She shrugged, sniffs. Perhaps the news would cover it, until the next sensation pulled her attention away. But after a while, it would be drowned out by all the other crap competing for her attention, and the demon in the walled city would become the new normal. Well, the new normal is that the walled city isn't under magical influence anymore. Congratulations, the poor can return to their misery with no interference from magical machines or big bad things because of you. Now let me give you a piece of advice for the future, my sweet. Something Mr. Cheng used to tell me. Respect ghosts and gods, but keep away from them. It sounds like you almost lost your ass in the walled city. I think you'd best listen to that. I'll keep it in mind. You do that. She stubs out her cigar, screws the top back on her bottle. Now get some sleep, Dystopia. You look like shit. Tomorrow we'll talk about the future. Last time you told me to get to bed, I woke up a Shadowrunner. What happens when I wake up tomorrow? We get to work, my darling. You heard Mr. Bow. She dips her fingers in her empty glass, finds the last drop of liquid, and brings it to her mouth. The gods help those who seize opportunities. Kindly Sheng turns away, dismissing you with a wave. Bow, what's the status on those medical supplies? The scene on the bolt hole is quiet, save for the sounds of eating. The crew is crowded around Goblet's electric hot plate. Her cast iron pot simmers on top, and they hold bowls of soup in their hands. You recognize the smell: chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. The mood is somber. I thought you were all going to bed. We figured we'd hang out a while. No one could remember the last time we ate. She looks over her bowl at Duncan. Besides, no one could sleep anyways. She means me. I'm too fucked up to sleep, trying not to think about Raymond. Wu takes an enormous gulp of soup, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. They're just keeping me company, feeding me and pretending not to be tired, talking a bit. Yeah, I'm still jacked up. Bed can wait. Isabel fishes a chunk of something out of her soup with her fingers, flicks it to the floor. We've been debriefing a bit. Yeah, talking about all that's gone on, everything we've been through together. She shuffles her feet a bit. Sorry about Raymond, Seattle. You too, Duncan. He was trying to do good with that machine. You two need to remember that. Wu drops his head. His words come out slowly, as if they were being forcibly extracted. I can't believe he did that. He gave himself to that demon. I think he did what he came to do. I guess we did too, Arnold. We came to help Rambo, and he got what he wanted. Isabel stares over her bowl at the wall of the trawler. Her voice is soft. Hard to believe we defeated a god. Demon god. Goblet stirs her soup with her fingers from another plane of existence. Hard to believe that Josephine Sang is going to remain untarnished by this whole thing. The little Decker's face hardens. 20 years of misery, 20 years of suffering, for tens of thousands, hundreds maybe. That's the way it is, the way the world works. The people play their games and the little people pay the price. She'll see justice someday, she has to. Wu stares into the soup, squinting in concentration. But one thing doesn't add up for me. Why was Josephine Sang so intent on shutting us down? Why wouldn't she be? You saw what she was responsible for. No, think about it. The HKPF snipers, the plastic-faced man, all of the research that she poured into capturing Raymond and hunting us down. I mean, she's already covered her tracks with that illegal drug lab explosion, right? So why not just let Ray do his thing, then cover it up afterwards? It doesn't add up. It had to be the fortune engine itself. Yeah, I think you're right. From everything Raymond said, the key was supposed to be pooling, turning toxic, but I felt something in that room, a flow of positive key that I didn't expect. Gobert wrinkles her nose. She stares at the floor of the trawler for several seconds, apparently lost in thought. I think that it was leaving the walled city. I bet that machine did something else, something that Raymond didn't know about. The little Decker stirs her soup, pondering. What if it was siphoning? What if Josephine Sang was stealing the cast-off positive key from the walled city, leeching it for her own benefit? Wu nods at Isabel, runs with her train of thought. She sealed up the fortune engine, leached the good key for herself, and took Sang Mechanical Services from the minor company Ray's father built to the ballbuster it is today. His jaw tightens. That's how she got herself on the Executive Council of Hong Kong. Of course, this is all speculation. Can't prove any of it. But Josephine was using positive key. But if Josephine was using positive key, that the fortune engine was casting off, she isn't getting it anymore. Your foster father saw to that. Gobert taps her spoon against the rim of her bowl. I wonder what'll happen to her. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Gobert finishes her soup, lets out a little belch, and pats her stomach, satisfied. She tosses the bowl in the corner for madness and folly. So Seattle, what now? Now, bed. Good plan for everyone. But especially you, Arnold. Wu winks at you. You look like shit. Why does everybody tell me that? Your bunk on the trawler lies waiting, patient and seductive. It beckons with the promise of escape. Go to sleep and end the campaign. You drop your head into the pillow and hold the rough naval blanket over you. The bolt hole rocks like a cradle, and moments later you are wrapped in the comforting arms of sleep. There is no nightmares, only shadows. A story of the Walled City riots circulates local news networks for nearly a week. Few outside of Hong Kong hear about the incidents, and of those that do, even fewer care. By the end of the month, the city is back to business as usual. In Hioi, the flow of refugees eventually slows to a trickle. Those who do escape tell stories of a terrifying demon goddess and of an old man who sacrificed his soul to banish her. Their mad ramblings are generally met with pity and contempt. After the incident in the Walled City, the lucky streak that propelled Sang Mechanical Services into the limelight slowly comes to an end. While CEO Josephine Sang remains a beloved public figure, her influence begins to wane, and she is eventually removed from the Executive Council. Within 3 years of the Walled City riots, Sang Mechanical Services loses its AAA status. From this point on, it is widely considered to be a B-grade corporation. Hioi remains a safe port of call for smugglers, gangsters, and Shadowrunners alike. You are no exception. The shadows here welcome you, in a way that Seattle never did. You've earned the respect of your fixer, your clients, and your community. And now that the APB on you and your team has been lifted by parties unknown, you are free to operate openly in Hong Kong. This place is yours now, your home. Okay, that's it for the main campaign in Shadowrun Hong Kong. Next I will be doing the Shadows of Hong Kong bonus campaign, but that's for another time.